This is my financial disclosure, and today's case is patient uncontrolled on multiple OADs. A 54-year-old female, Akanksha, working as a journalist, has 12 years history of diabetes. Her current treatment is lifestyle modifications and oral metformin 1000 milligrams twice a day and oral glimepiride 2 milligrams twice a day, oral empagliflozin 25 milligrams once a day. Her BMI is 25 kilograms per meter square. Her HbA1c is 9%. Fasting plasma glucose is 210 milligrams per deciliter and postprandial glucose is 250 milligrams per deciliter. Weight is 70 kilograms. So key observations from this case. She has uncontrolled HbA1c, uncontrolled diabetes and deranged fasting plasma glucose and postprandial plasma glucose, and with minimum or no diabetic complications like macrovascular or microvascular complications like neuropathy, retinopathy or diabetic kidney disease or coronary artery disease or cerebrovascular disease or peripheral artery disease, and minimum or no diabetic comorbidities like hypertension and dyslipidemia. And coming to in this case, choices are either to start with basal insulin 1 or to start with premix insulin. So basal insulin is the choice of the management here. What factors should be considered before we choose one? So factors should be to be considered before prescribing a basal insulin. One is efficacy, and second one is hypoglycemia and low glycemic variability and simplicity. These four factors should be considered before initiating a basal insulin. So coming to this slide, significant HbA1c reduction across the various clinical trials conducted throughout the world, and various trials are Begin Asia and Begin BB2, Begin Early, Begin Months Long, Devote and Conclude trial. All these trials shows HbA1c reduction with degludec compared with the insulin glargine. The HbA1c reduction ranges from 0 to 1.5%. So consistently proven hypoglycemia benefit across the trials Begin, Switch and Devote trials in more than 16,000 patients. These trials are conducted between insulin degludec versus glargine U100. These are the evidence-based studies, and in Begin phase 3A study, there is overall decrease of hypoglycemia is percentage is 28% and 49% of decrease in nocturnal hypoglycemia and 86% decrease in severe hypoglycemia with insulin degludec. And coming to the switch to phase 3B trial, there is decrease in overall hypoglycemia is 30% and 42% decrease in nocturnal hypoglycemia and 46% decrease in severe hypoglycemia. Coming to the Devote trial with CVOTs, that is MACE, there is a decrease in nocturnal hypoglycemia 53% and 40% decrease in severe hypoglycemias. Compared, this trial shows decreased CVOTs with basal insulin degludec compared with the IGLAR U100. And real world evidence U-TREAT T2D study shows overall hypoglycemia incidence is 61% decreased in this study and 90% decrease in nocturnal hypoglycemia and 92% decrease in severe hypoglycemia. So consistently proven hypoglycemia benefit, that is Conclude trial, IDEC versus IGLAR U300. This trial is conducted between. So overall symptomatic and nocturnal symptomatic and severe hypoglycemia during the maintenance period is overall symptomatic hypoglycemia is 12%. The primary endpoint, superiority on the rate of overall symptomatic hypoglycemia in the maintenance period for degludec versus glargine U300 was not met, not satisfactorily significant, although numerically lower. Rate ratio is 0.88, 95%, CI at 0.73 to 1.06. And nocturnal symptomatic hypoglycemia is during maintenance period is 37% decreased, and severe hypoglycemia is 80% decreased hypoglycemia. And during total treatment, overall symptomatic hypoglycemia is decreased by 23% in insulin degludec, with and nocturnal symptomatic hypoglycemia is decreased by 43% in total treatment with insulin degludec, and severe hypoglycemia is reduced by 62% with insulin degludec versus Glargine U300. Coming to the association between A1C and hypoglycemia, the dark blue shows degludec and grey color shows Glargine U100. In first diagram shows T1DM, the symptomatic hypoglycemia events per 100 patient years and mean HbA1c level. There is a decreased incidence of hypoglycemia with degludec compared to insulin Glargine. And coming to the T2DM, there is no much difference, but compared to Glargine, there is decreased risk of hypoglycemia with insulin degludec. Lower day-to-day variability with degludec versus other basal analogs. So, day-to-day variability is very important, and this is a comparison between Glargine 100 versus degludec. There is 82% decrease in day-to-day variability, and compared with 20% decrease in day-to-day variability, that is 4 times lesser day-to-day variability, decreased incidence of hypoglycemia with degludec. And coming to the day-to-day variability with Glargine 300 versus degludec, there is 67% decrease in day-to-day variability coefficient of variation, and compared to 33% of degludec, and which is 2 times lesser than the Glargine U300. So this significantly lower glycemic variability with degludec. This is the real world evidence. So coming to the glycemic variability metrics, percentage of coefficient variation and standard deviation, high glycemic variability from the baseline, percentage of coefficient variation 44.7 plus or minus 7.3. After 12 weeks treatment with degludec, it has come down to 33.6 plus or minus 10.1, and p-value is less than 0.001. And coming to the standard deviation, from the baseline it is 71.3 plus or minus 19.5, and after treatment with degludec after 12 weeks, it has come down to 49.8 plus or minus 20, and p-value is less than 0.001. So in patients with high glycemic variability, degludec significantly reduces coefficient of variation and standard deviation, which is very important in reducing the glycemic variability, and thereby decreases the hypoglycemic incidence. So this is the HYPODEC trial conducted in TEP1DM. This is a randomized controlled trial, 2-year randomized crossover study comparing degludec and Glargine U100, lower glycemic variability with the degludec versus Glargine 100. So in 24 hours, coefficient of variation significantly lower with degludec. In diurnal, variation is comparable with degludec, and nocturnal is significantly lower coefficient of variation with degludec compared to the Glargine 100. So treatment with insulin degludec resulted in significantly lower all-day coefficient of variation, primarily driven by the nocturnal CV. So coming to this lower glycemic variability, better time in range and lower time below range. So time in range is very important to maintain the glycemic glucose levels in control. So superiority of the IDEC is confirmed compared to the Glargine. So estimated treatment difference is significant, 1.43%, or 20.6 minutes per day in favor of degludec over Glargine U100. And time below range is estimated time difference IDEC versus IGLAR U100 percentage minute per day. Nocturnal level 2 is minus 0.29, nocturnal level 1 minus 0.059, and nocturnal level plus 1 and 2 minus 0.088. So, lower glycemic variability, improved coefficient of variation, and mean amplitude of glycemic excursions, and mean of daily difference, and time in range. So, these are the figures before using degludec, after using degludec, and what is the percentage change after using degludec. So, the mean interstitial glucose before using degludec is 176 milligrams per deciliter plus or minus 20. After using degludec, it has come down to 171 plus or minus 34. Percentage change is decreased by 3%. Coming to coefficient of variation in milligrams per deciliter, before using degludec is 70 plus or minus 24. After using degludec is 56 plus or minus 12, and percentage change is decreased by 16%. And mean amplitude of glycemic excursion is before using degludec is 125 plus or minus 15, and after using degludec is 114 plus or minus 19, and percentage change is decreased by 9%. This indicates the degree of glucose level fluctuations. Coming to the embodied mode, that is mean of daily differences. This is index for estimating intraday glycemic variability. Before using degludec, it is 84 plus or minus 28. After using degludec, 56 plus or minus 15, and percentage change is decreased by 30%. And percentage in target range is before using degludec is 52 plus or minus 19. After using degludec is 58 plus or minus 22, and percentage change is increased by 13%. Target range is increased. So target time in range is increased by 13% with degludec. Improvement in mean interstitial glucose, coefficient of variation, and mean amplitude of glycemic excursions, and mean of daily difference seen with degludec. So, comparable time in range with degludec versus Glargine 300. So, this slide shows dotted line is Glargine 300 units and solid line is degludec. So, dotted line shows the up and downs. This is a glycemic variability which is not seen with the degludec. So, coming to this slide, with Glargine 300 and degludec, the time in range is maintained 73.4 with Glargine 300 and with degludec 77.3, and p-value is 0.314. And coming to time above range more than 180 milligrams per deciliter, with Glargine 26.4%, with degludec 21.1, p-value is 0.194. And time below range is less than 70 milligrams per deciliter, that is hypoglycemia, with Glargine 0.22, and with degludec it is 1.58, p-value is 0.100. So comparable time in range between degludec and Glargine 300. So simple initiation and titration of degludec in T2DM. Start in insulin naive patients. Administer it alone or in combination with existing OADs or GLP-1 analogs or bolus insulin. Recommended daily starting dose is 10 units. Dictates subsequent individual dosage adjustments. And switch from other basal insulins. So from once a day or twice a day basal insulin therapy or basal component of prior basal bolus regimen, premix insulin, unit to unit switch, that is 1:1, and 20% dose reduction to be considered when switching from a twice a day insulin. So titration, how to titrate? Adjust the dose once weekly based on the mean of 2 self-monitoring of glucose tests. So flexible dose timing with degludec 8 to 40 hours because of its ultra long acting insulin action. So two phase 3A clinical trial shows if you give the degludec on Monday 8 a.m. and Tuesday 8 p.m. glycemia is maintained, and Wednesday 8 a.m. and Thursday 8 p.m. and Friday 8 p.m. 8 a.m. and Saturday 8 p.m. and Sunday 8 p.m. Even after 24 to 48 hours it is maintained. So what does this leave the clinician with? Hypoglycemia and glycemic variability are barriers to tight glycemic control. So new generation of basal insulins like degludec address these issues and make an ideal basal start. So coming to our case, that is Akanksha. So we start with insulin degludec 10 units, and she was advised to monitor her fasting glucose levels twice weekly, and metformin, glimepiride and empagliflozin were continued. Advised follow-up after a month. So coming to the summary. So the significant HbA1c reduction compared to baseline and shows significant reductions in rates of overall confirmed symptomatic, nocturnal and confirmed symptomatic and severe hypoglycemia in T1DM and T2DM versus glargine U100, and significantly higher time spent in time in range with degludec versus glargine U100, and significant lower time spent in nocturnal time below range with degludec versus glargine U100, and has a simple titration schedule that has the potential for up to 5 fewer SMBG test strips per week versus glargine U100. So allows for flexibility in the timing of insulin administration when needed without compromising the risk of hypoglycemia. Thank you for your patient listening.
Thank you, madam, for such a nice presentation. Now we are going towards the last part of our presentation, and that is our co-farmers session. I replied to all the audience. I sent a message to them. This is overview regarding the questions and the chat box. And I also mentioned my mobile number also. If you can, that is for send a WhatsApp message or SMS to me, I can take the questions. So there are few questions. We are having a few questions. Shibu sir, may we start the question session?
Yeah, 1 second, we'll start. Just hold on for a second, Sakit.